Hello everyone, my name is Braden, this is Airless Quill 9, and in today's video, we are going to talk about the Efreeti, the Genie of Fire. So these are really cool creatures, and we're going to talk about them because there are quite a few things to discuss in this 2024 revision for the Efreeti. So Efreet burn with the energy and unpredictability of fire. Their innate magic allows them to conjure flames from nothing and shape treasures within magical infernos. Many Efreet have wicked reputations, as their fickle natures and love for dramatic conflagrations can be destructive. Other Efreet delight in fire's beauty, be it the delicacy of a candle flame or the shared wonder of fireworks. These genies might aid mortals in exchange for treasures or the liberation of captive elementals. On many worlds, Efreet dwell in sweltering deserts and volcanic regions. Those that make their homes on the elemental plane of fire create incredible cities among seas of flame and molten minerals. Eclipsing all of these is the storied city of Brass, a gleaming metropolis that is one of the most wondrous cities in the multiverse. Here, magic tempers the plane's extreme heat, making the city of Brass a hub of trade between planes of existence. And the city of Brass is a pretty interesting city, being that it is in the elemental plane of fire. So it is very hot, but it's kind of a elemental trade hub in a sense. So there's a lot to be found there. But the Efreet are some of the powerhouses in that particular region. So we are going to talk about them. First off, we're going to take a look at the 2024 stat block so we can get an idea of what the Efreeti can do. So let's go ahead and get to it. So the Efreeti is a large elemental, particularly a genie, and they are neutral aligned. They have an armor class of 17, an initiative of +1, 212 hit points, a speed of 40 feet, and a fly speed of 60 feet with hover. For their ability scores, they have a strength of 22, a dexterity of 12, a constitution of 24, an intelligence of 16, a wisdom of 15, and a charisma of 19. They are also proficient in both wisdom and charisma saving throws. They have immunity to fire damage. For their senses, they have a dark vision of 120 feet and a passive perception of 12. Languages, they know Primordial Ignin, and they are a challenge rating 11 creature, granting them 7,200 experience points and a proficiency bonus of +4. Like other genies, they have the elemental restoration trait. This allows them to be reborn in the elemental plane of fire by their body dissolving into ash once they drop to 0 hit points, and they gain a new body in 1d4 days, reviving with all of their hit points somewhere on the plane of fire once that happens. They also have the magic resistance trait. This grants them advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. And then the Efreeti also has the very special wishes trait that all genie have. This gives it a 30% chance of knowing the wish spell, and if the Efreeti does know it, it can cast it only on behalf of a non-genie creature who communicates a wish in a way the Efreeti can understand. If the Efreeti casts the spell for the creature, the Efreeti suffers none of the spell's stress, and once the Efreeti has cast it 3 times, the Efreeti can't do so again for 365 days. So this is a pretty cool trait, and really goes into the idea of these genies being wish granters, at least some of them being so. So nice to have that in your back pocket should you need it. They also have a number of actions available to them. The first of these is a multi-attack. This allows the Efreeti to make 3 attacks using Heated Blade or Hurl Flame in any combination. Heated Blade is a melee attack roll with a +10 to hit, a reach of 5 feet, and on a hit it deals 2d6 +6 slashing damage plus 2d12 fire damage. And then finally, Hurl Flame is a ranged attack roll with a +8 to hit and a reach of 120 feet, and on a hit it deals 7d6 fire damage. Finally, spell casting. This allows the Efreeti to cast one of the following spells requiring no material components and using Charisma as the spellcasting ability with a spell save DC of 16. At will, they can cast Detect Magic and Elementalism, and once per day each, they can cast Gaseous Form, Invisibility, Major Image, Plane Shift, Tongues, and Wall of Fire as a 7th level spell. So, a lot to unpack here, but let's go ahead and talk about the changes to the 2014 Efreeti with these in mind. So there are a number of things to mention. The first of these is a hit point change. As you can see, in 2014, the average hit points for the Efreeti were 200, and in 2024, these are now 212. This is because they have gained additional hit die, which is quite nice. The fly speed that the Efreeti has now also has the hover trait, which it did not have before, so that's a neat change. They have also lost saving throw proficiency and intelligence saves, so that is something to mention. But their charisma score has gone up from a 16 to a 19, which has changed their modifiers respectively. For the languages, they have specified that Ignan is from the primordial language, or rather that Ignan is a dialect of primordial, so that is a new change there. And then Elemental Restoration, Magic Resistance, and Wishes are all entirely new traits. The old Efreeti used to have something called Elemental Demise, but it did not specify that the Efreeti was reborn in the Plane of Fire, so this is essentially an entirely new trait. The other changes here are to the multi-attack section. This used to allow the Efreeti to make 2 scimitar attacks and use Hurl Flame twice. So this has instead been changed. They now just make 3 attacks, and they can use either Heated Blade or Hurl Flame in any combination, which is quite nice. There are some damage changes here as well. The average damage for the 2014 Efreeti was around 40 to 34 damage, depending. And then in 2024, the average damage now is 78 to 72. So there is a 38 average damage increase, which is quite crazy that is, sorry, I did make a mistake. In the multi-attack section, it used to make 2 scimitar attacks or it used Hurl Flame twice. So I misspoke there earlier. But the average damage increase does still stand. So that is why the damage has gone up so high, is because the Efreeti essentially has an additional attack now as a part of its multi-attack. And that's not all, because Heated Blade is now a reworked version of the Scimitar attack with an entirely new name, but that's not the only change to it, because the fire damage that this attack dealt used to be 2d6, and it is now 2d12, so you can see that that damage increase has worked towards that average damage increase in conjunction. Hurl Flame as well has seen some small changes. First off, it used to be a +7 to hit, is now a +8. And then the damage of it used to be 5d6, and then it's been increased to 7d6. So that is also a massive change there. So that is why the new damage for the Efreeti has gone up by such a massive damage average. So yeah, really cool to see that there. The Efreeti did lose some spells in this version. It lost Enlarge, Reduce, and Conjure Elemental. Granted, Conjure Elemental has seen some changes to its functionality, so it makes sense that they would remove that. And Enlarge, Reduce is another spell that you would have to keep in mind if you were to use it, so I'm not sad that they did lose this. They did, however, gain Elementalism as a new cantrip option, or at will option, because that is a new elemental cantrip that was added to 2024. So cool to see that in there. Tongues also beforehand used to be 3 times per day. They have changed it to once per day, which is fine. But the really massive change here is not only did the spell save DC get increased from 15 to 16, which is important, but Wall of Fire is now cast as a 7th level spell instead of a 4th level spell like its normal level. So you can see here in this little bar that I made in 2014, a level 4 wall of fire dealt 5d8 damage, and the level 7 version now deals 8d8. So massive damage increase there from letting them cast that at 3 levels higher than before. So yeah, pretty potent changes to the Efreeti. This is a powerful elemental genie, and it is a lot more potent of a threat in 2024 than it used to be in 2014, and you can really see that with the math here. It's just a lot more powerful and a lot more scary than before. So pretty cool changes across the board, and really impressed at how more just how much more devastating this Efreeti is to the old version. Quite nice to see there. But yeah, that's going to be it for this particular video. So thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to give the video a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Next up on our list is going to be the Elemental Cataclysm, which is a new creature type, or a new creature rather, for 2024. So keep an eye out for that video. Until then, thank you all for watching, and I will see you on the next one.